So what's going on, guys? Today we're going to be taking a look at Generations Legacy Deluxe Class Skids. And Skids here is my one and only Legacy toy thus far. Wave 2 still hasn't come out in my area, and I really do want Knockout, so it's probably going to happen. Now, as far as things go with Skids here, he's pretty good. All things considered, I have no issues with Skids. I think he looks great. Even the back is pretty well good. It's clean. I mean, you got the roof and the windshield and that, but that's just typical car kibble at this point. One thing I just got to point out real quick, though, is, yeah, you probably noticed the hips are silver on the front and sides, but the back, they're blue. No clue. There's also this random gap, which is fine. Now, Skids, he just looks phenomenal to me. I actually do think he looks great. The color blue is like my favorite color blue, period. It's like, it's not too dark, but it's not too light. You get it? It's a darker blue, but it's not super dark. And, I mean, the front bumper, the paint they put into that is great. Like the black, and then there's red and yellow and silver. It just looks great. Looks really good. Autobot logo there. Generic hood chest door wing combo. The Prowl special. And I mean, yeah, he looks pretty good. He comes with 3 accessories, which are off to the side here. And the accessory that I'm going to show off first is the line-wide Energon weapon gimmick. Pretty good, all things considered. I mean, it looks kind of skinny, but there's a way to kind of remedy that. And, I mean, it looks pretty decent. Has a handle on it as well, so it can be wielded as, like I said, the Energon axe gun. So yeah, you can just kind of hold that like that. But the way I pose it is I put it on his forearm rather than in his hand, because it doesn't look as bad on his forearm as it does his hand. It looks way too skinny on his hand as a gun. Like, there's that issue. So as you can see, I mean, it does look alright, but I'd prefer it on the forearm. Second accessory is his G1 accurate gun. Looks like this, painted in silver. Looks good. 2 barrels, skinny in the center. He can hold it, or he can forearm mount it. I'm pretty sure the original G1 Skids had it arm mounted. I'm assuming. So that's what that looks like. Looks pretty good, I guess. Peg's a bit of a tight squeeze. And his other gun, which is my least favorite of the 3 because it's kind of handles like too short. When he holds it, it looks like it's just too high up in his hand. Like it should sit lower. So they kind of made this like silver section jut out way too far down. Bit of scuffage on it as well on the side. I didn't do that. It came out of the box like that, which is annoying. And as far as things go, I mean, you can combine these 2 guns like that, and you get this, and you can combine the Energon one on top as well to form a big one, but I don't think anyone ever is going to use this thing. This thing is weird looking. And yes, he can hold this one, and I think with the bottom one in, it doesn't look as weird, because it kind of covers that big gap, so it doesn't look nearly as odd looking, which is good. So that is Skids accessories. So let's just take a look at Skids himself. Like I said, chest looks phenomenal. Door has some good paint apps with the stripes. The stripes are also on the legs. Silver on the hips is nice as well. Like I said, though, it doesn't carry over to the back, which I think is a bit strange. They could have kept that going. It's kind of an odd place to not put paint. I mean, he looks pretty good. Wheels on the bottom of the feet along with the ports on the bottom of the feet, because yes, you can still do the siege gimmick. I'm pretty sure that's just going to keep going forever and ever, because he does have a port on his back. The ones I mentioned on the front of his forearms, which are still a weird placement. Kind of reminds me of Siege Mirage, where it's on the bottom of his arm, but it's fine. 2 on the legs, obviously the hands, not on the shoulders. But that's fine. The shoulders are really thin, and they also have like a slight faux wheel design going on. So it kind of has a half wheel, which looks weird. Did I just say wheel? Wheel. What am I doing? So, I mean, yeah, he looks pretty good. His articulation's also quite good. His head looks, you can look to the side and that, and do a 360. It can do what you want. It has tilt to it. It has outward at the shoulder kind of twice if you want it. I'm pretty sure this is meant to be the true one. This is more of a transformation thing. A not quite 90 elbow. You can kind of see there. It's a, it's kind of like an 85 rotation at the shoulder area, and then the hand rotates. He also has a waist swivel, forward and back at the legs. Not so much back, kind of blocked by the kibble. Outward as well, a knee joint and a swivel. And of course, a tilt on both ankles, obviously. And the maximum spread distance you can get with him is pretty decent. That is it right there. Pretty good. Now, I do have some slight complaints about skids, which is the shoulders are a bit weird as well. As I mentioned, this is kind of a transformation step, not a, like, true outward at the shoulder. Because it kind of breaks them a bit. It puts the shoulder way too high up. I don't know if there's a way to peg it in, because it seems like it's supposed to peg in right there, but it doesn't do a very good job. Another thing people complain about is the little panel on the back of his head, which I don't mind, because Hound has a panel behind his head, and it just doesn't look that good. It's iffy. Now, the other issue I have is the chest. Whenever you try to pose the arms without putting your thumb or something on the chest, yeah, it just goes up. Whenever you try to put the arms forward, every other direction's fine. It's just forward that it does that. I mean, yeah, he looks good. There's robot mode. I like it. And, yeah, I guess we should probably get him into his alt form. So to transform skids, pretty simple affair. It's really easy. First thing you're going to do is take his arms, flip them out like that, and then rotate it like so. You're then going to take the swivel there, and you're going to rotate it so the ports are facing you. Once you've done that, come to the back, rotate it upward, and then peg the windshield into the hood. There is some pegs there. They are translucent, which is kind of scary, but I don't know how important they're really going to be in the long run. Push the arms down, and then take skids, compact him like so, and then you can take the red section there, and it'll flip up and in. And then you have to take, see where the port is, there's like a little of a dent. I'd recommend you peg the legs together for this one. It makes it 10 times easier. And it gotta go behind the red crotch area. And that'll like kind of snap in. Bit scary, translucent plastic again. The arms, back to those before we do the legs, which are probably the easiest part of the entire thing. There is a peg right there, and then there's a slot on the forearm, like right there. And it is going to peg in quite nicely. Now, I kind of got confused when I first got them. I didn't really know where the arms went. But yes, they go like this and they peg in. Next thing I do, flip down the calves like that. And then you can scrunch the car mode down. And the roof should peg in. Like that. And then close the doors, which close quite easily, no issues. And then come under the feet and flip out the wheels. And there's skids in his alt form. And yeah, it looks really good. Except for one thing, which we'll get to. Front looks great, sides look great, and the back is unpainted, and what did they do? Oh, Hasbro, you're so close. They even have, like, this amazing translucent black sunroof thing here. And it is translucent. You can see through it. You can't really see it on camera, but it is see-through. I mean, he looks great every other direction, but from behind, because there's no tail lights, there's no, like, tail pipes. They didn't bother with the license plates. They didn't even bother with, like, a back window. They also didn't bother with these windows, but that's not really fully noticeable, I guess. And he is, much like G1 Skids, a little compact car, his little hatchback. And I mean, as far as G1 cars go, he probably had the most practical one. It's just a car you'd see on the street. Everyone else said, yeah, let me turn into a semi-truck, or, I mean, the semi-truck's normal. Optimus had a pretty normal one. But, like, Sideswipe and Sunstreaker and Wheeljack and, like, Tracks, it's like they all turned into sports cars. That was such a dumb move. Such a dumb move to turn into a sports car. There's ports on them still. The one on the roof and the two on the, near the gas caps. He has 2 gas caps. There's one right there and one right there. So one of them's square, one of them's circular, is it? No, they're both square. You can peg the weapons, obviously, onto the roof. Looks good. This one you can't really peg on forward. Doesn't really peg on very well. It pegs on backwards well, though. Peg it on forward, it only goes on about that much. It's pretty easy to get off. We dropped it. I bumped the camera. Oh, no. Let me get it situated again. There we go. Pretty easy to get situated. I have a new system. The other one I had going was actually pretty bad. I'm just filming this on an iPhone, so without a tripod, I'm actually using G1 Guzzle and a Frenzy from Movie 1 to hold this thing up. Like the Play one with like a disc launcher. That's what I'm using for a tripod. Yeah, it's a pretty decent tripod though, actually. Pretty good base. And I think, yeah, Skids Alt mode looks great. Transformation back is simple as all could be. Open the doors, come to the legs, and then fold them out. Do that, flip in the wheels like so. Take his arms, fold them forward, fold these out. Come to the legs again, flip the crotch down, and then flip the waist up like so. Untap that, flip the chest down. Take the back panel and put it into place correctly. Take the arms, fold them up, and bada bing, bada boom. There's Skids back in his robot mode. And as far as Skids goes, I think he's a great figure. Is he as good as that Hound I just reviewed? I mean, he's kind of on par, but also not really. That Hound has way too good of paint. And he also has just as many accessories. So, he's a slight downgrade from the Hound. He's not bad at all. He's not, like, crazy good either. He's about a 3.5 out of 5. I know someone's going to say, well, why do you do 5 and not 10? I don't know, because I thought 5 was better. I think 0.5s are easier, because when you say, like, 6 out of 10, it's like, you know, is that good or bad, you know? Like, 3.5 sounds way better than 6. It just does. And, I mean, he does look great in both modes. His transformation's really easy. He's an easy fiddly toy, which is probably what you want. You don't want to be too hard to transform. But yeah, I think Skids is great. And that's my review on him. 3.5 out of 5. Eilt, Eilt, Elite, whatever you want to call me, signing out.